There is no composition in these news that gives them credit. Indeed, they are disproportionate. My letters say 107 galleys. And mine 140. And mine 200. But though they jump not on a just account, as in these cases where the aim reports, 'tis oft the difference, yet do they all confirm a Turkish fleet, and bearing up to Cyprus. Nay, it is possible enough to judgment. I do not secure with me in error, but the main article I do approve in fearful sense.
What ho! What ho! What ho!
Oi, a messenger from the galleys.
Now, what's the business? The Turkish preparation makes for roads, so has been report here to the state by Signor Angelo. What say you to this change? This cannot be. By no assay of reason, 'tis a patent to keep us in false gaze.
When we consider the importance of Cyprus to the Turk, and let ourselves again understand that as it more concerns the Turk than Rhodes, so may he with more facile question bear it. For it stands not in such warlike brace, but altogether lacks the abilities that Rhodes is dressed in. If we make thought of this, we must not think the Turk is so unskillful to leave that latest which concerns him first, neglecting an attempt of ease and gain, to wake and wage a danger profitless. Nay, in all confidence, he is not for Rhodes. Here is more news. The Ottomites, reverend and gracious, steering with due course towards the Isle of Rhodes, have there enjointed them with an afterfleet. Aye, so I thought. How many, as you guess? Of 30 sail, and now do the rest step their backward course, bearing with frank appearance their purposes towards Cyprus.
Signor Montano, your trusty and most valiant servitor, with his free duty, recommends you thus, and prays you to believe him. 'Tis certain, then. For Cyprus, Marcus Lucius. Is not he in town? He is now in Florence. Write from us to him. Post haste. Dispatch. Here comes Brabantio, and the valiant Moor. Valiant Othello, we must straight employ you against the general enemy Ottoman. I did not see you. Welcome, gentle signor. We lacked your counsel and your help tonight. So did I yours, your grace. Pardon me, neither my place nor aught I heard of business hath raised me from my bed, nor doth the general care. Take hold on me. For my particular grief is of so floodgate and overbearing nature that it engluts me, and swallows other sorrows, and it is still itself. Why, what's the matter? My daughter. Oh, my daughter. Dead? Aye, to me. She's breathed, stolen from me and corrupted. By spells and medicines bought of mountebanks, for nature, so preposterously to err, being not deficient, blind, or lame of sense, send witchcraft could not. Whoever he be that in his foul proceeding hath thus beguiled your daughter of herself, and you of her, the bloody book of law you shall yourself read in the bitter letter. After your own sense, ye, thou, our proper son, stood in your action. Humbly I thank your grace. Here is a man this more whom, now it seems, your special mandate for the state affairs hath hither brought. We are very sorry for it. What in your part can you say to this? But this is so. Most potent, grave and reverend signors, my very noble and approved good masters, that I have taken away this old man's daughter. It is most true.
True, I have married her. The very head and front of my offending hath to this extent. Rude am I in my speech, and little blessed with the soft phrase of peace. For since these arms of mine had 7 years' pith, till now some 9 moons wasted, they have used their dearest action in the tented field, and little of this great world can I speak more than pertains to feats of broil and battle, and therefore little shall I grace my cause in speaking for myself. Yet, by your gracious patience, I will a round unvarnished tale deliver of my whole course of love, what drugs, what charms, what conjuration, and what mighty magic for some proceeding I am charged withal, wondrous daughter. A maiden never bold, of spirit so still and quiet that her motion blushed at herself, and she, in spite of nature of years of counting credit everything, to fall in love with what she feared to look on. It is a judgment maimed and most imperfect that will confess perfection so could err against all rules of nature, and must be driven to find out practices of cunning hell why this should be. I therefore vouch again that with some mixtures powerful over the blood, or with some dram conjured this effect, he wrought upon her. To vouch this is no proof, without more wider and more over tests than these, than habits of poor likelihoods of modern seeming do prefer against him. But, Othello, speak. Did you by indirect and forced courses subdue and poison this young maid's affections, or came it by request in such fair question as soul to soul affordeth? I do beseech you, send for the lady to the Sagittary, and let her speak to me before her father. If you do find me foul in her report, the trust, the office I do hold of you, not only take away, but let your sentence even fall upon my life.
Ancient, conduct them. You best know the place. Until she come, as truly as to heaven, I do confess the vices of my blood. So, justly, to your grave ears, I'll present. How did I thrive in this fair lady's love, and she in mine? Her father loved me, oft invited me, still questioned me the story of my life. From year to year, the battles, sieges, fortunes that I have passed.
Such was the process, and the cannibals of each other eat, the papagaii and men whose heads do grow beneath their shoulders. History here with Desdemona seriously inclined. Still the house of birds would draw her thence. Whichever as she could with haste of fat, she'd come again, and the greedy ear devour up my discourse, which I observed and took thence the pliant hour, and found good news to draw from her a fair and earnest heart, that I would all my pilgrimage style it. For of that parcel she had something heard, but not attentively, and did consent, and did beguile her of her tears, that is, to speak of some distressful stroke that my youth had suffered. My story being done, she gave me for my pains a world of sigh. She swore her faith. So strange, so passing strange, so pitiful, so wondrous pitiful.
She wished she had not heard it, yet she wished that heaven had made her such a man. She thanked me and bade me, if I had a friend that loved her, I should but teach him how to tell my story, and that would woo her. Upon this hint I spake. She loved me for the dangers I had passed, and I loved her that she did pity them. This only, is the witchcraft I have used. Here comes the lady. Let her witness it. I think this tale would win my daughter too. Good Brabantio, take up this mangled matter at the best. Men do their broken weapons rather use than their bare hands. I pray you hear her speak. If she confessed that she was half the wooer, destruction on my head if my bad blame light on the man. Come hither, gentle mistress. Do you perceive in all this noble company where most you owe your obedience?
My noble father, I do perceive here a divide of duty. To you, I am bound for life and education. My life and education both do learn me how to respect you. You are the lord of duty. I am hitherto your daughter, but here's my husband. And so much duty my mother showed to you, preferring you above her father. So much I challenge that I may profess due to the more, my lord. God be with you. I have done. Please it, your grace, on to the state affairs. I had rather adopt a child than get it. Come hither, more. I here do give thee that with all my heart, which, but thou hast already, with all my heart I would keep from thee. For your sake, Jewel, I am glad at my soul that I have no other child, for thy escape would teach me tyranny to hang clogs upon them. I have done, my lord. Let me speak like yourself, and lay a sentence, which, as a grise or step, may help these lovers into your favour.
When remedies are past, the griefs are ended by seeing the worst which late on hopes depended. To mourn a mischief that is past and gone is the next way to draw new mischief on. What cannot be preserved when fortune takes patience her injury a mockery makes? The robbed that smiles steals something from the thief. He robs himself that spends a bootless grief. So let the Turk of Cyprus us beguile, we lose it not as long as we can smile. He bears the sentence well that nothing bears but the free comfort from which thence he hears. But he bears both the sentence and the sorrow, that to pay grief must of poor patience borrow. These sentences to sugar or to gall, being strong on both sides, are equivocal. But words are words. I never yet did hear that the bruised heart was pierced through the ear. I humbly beseech you, proceed to the affairs of state. The Turk, with a most mighty preparation, makes for Cyprus. Othello, the fortitude of the place is best known to you. And though we have there a substitute of most allowed sufficiency, yet opinion, a sovereign mistress of effects, throws a more safer voice on you. You must therefore be content to slubber the gloss of your new fortunes with this more stubborn and boisterous expedition. The tyrant custom most grave senators hath made the flinty and steel couch of war my thrice-driven bed of down. I do agonize a natural and prompt alacrity I find in hardness, and yet do undertake these present wars against the Ottomites. Most humbly, therefore, bending to your state, I crave fit disposition for my wife, due reference of place and exhibition, with such accommodation and besort as levels with her breeding. If you please, be it at her father's.
I'll not have it so.
Nor I. Nor I. I would not there reside to put my father in impatient thoughts by being in his eye. Most gracious Duke, to my unfolding lend your prosperous ears, and let me find a charter in your voice to assist my simpleness.
What would you, Desdemona?
That I did love the more to live with him,
My downright violence and storm of fortunes may trumpet to the world. My heart subdued, even to the very quality of my lord's. I saw Othello's visage in his mind, and to his honor and his valiant parts did I my soul and my fortunes consecrate. So that, dear lords, if I be left behind, a moth of peace, and he go to the war, the rights for which I love him bereft me, and I a heavy interim shall support by his dear absence. Let me go with him. Let her have your voices. Vouch with me, heaven, therefore I beg it not, to please the palate of my appetite, nor to comply with heat, the young affects in me defunct and proper satisfaction, but to be free and bounteous to her mind. And heaven defend your good souls that you think I will your serious and great business scant, for she is with me. No, when light-winged toys of feathered Cupid sealed with wanton dullness, my speculative and office instruments, that my disports corrupt and taint my business, let housewives make a skillet of my helm, and all indine and base adversities make head against my estimation. Be it as you shall privately determine, either for her stay or going, the affair cries haste, and speed must answer it. You must away tonight. With all my heart.
At 9 in the morning here we'll meet again. Othello, leave some officer behind, and he shall our commission bring to you with such things else of quality and respect as doth import to you. So please, your grace, my ancient, a man he is of honour and trust, to his conveyance I assign my wife, with what else needful your good grace shall think to be sent after me. Let it be so. Good night to everyone. And noble signor, if virtue no delighted beauty lack, your son-in-law is far more fair than black. Adieu, brave Moor, use Desdemona well. Look to her more, if thou hast eyes to see. She has deceived her father, and may thee. My life upon her faith. Honest Iago, my Desdemona must I leave to thee. I prithee, let thy wife attend on her, and bring them after in the best advantage. Come, Desdemona, I have but an hour of love, of worldly matters and direction to spend with thee. We must obey the time. Iago, what sayest thou, noble heart? What will I do, thinkest thou? Why, go to bed and sleep. I will incontinently drown myself. If thou dost, I shall never love thee after. Why, thou silly gentleman, it is silliness to live when to live is torment. And then have we a prescription to die when death is our physician. Oh, villainous! I have looked upon the world for 4 times 7 years, and since I could distinguish betwixt a benefit and an injury, I never found man that knew how to love himself. I would say, I would drown myself for the love of a guinea hen. I would change my humanity with a baboon. What should I do? I confess it is my shame to be so fond, but it is not in my virtue to amend it.
Virtue! A fig! 'Tis in ourselves that we are thus or thus. Our bodies are our gardens, to the which our wills are gardeners, so that if we will plant nettles, or sow lettuce, set hyssop, and weed up thyme, supply it with one gender of herbs, or distract it with many, either to have it sterile with idleness, or manured with industry, why, the power and corrigible authority of this lies in our wills. If the balance of our lives had not one scale of reason to poise another of sensuality, the blood and baseness of our natures would conduct us to most preposterous conclusions. But we have reason to cool our raging motions, our carnal stings, our unbidden lusts, whereof I take this that you call love to be a sect or a scion. It is merely a lust of the blood and a permission of the will. Come, be a man. Drown thyself. Drown cats and blind puppies. I have professed me thy friend, and I confess me knit to thy deserving with cables of perdurable toughness. I could never better stead thee than now. Put money in thy purse. Follow thou the wars. Defeat thy favor with an usurped beard. I say, put money in thy purse. It cannot be that Desdemona should long continue her love to the Moor. Put money in thy purse. Nor he his to her. It was a violent commencement, and thou shalt see an answerable sequestration. Put but money in thy purse. These Moors are changeable in their wills. Fill thy purse with money. The food that to him is now as luscious as locusts shall be to him shortly as bitter as coloncantida. She must change for youth. When she is sated with his body, she will find the error of her choice. She must have changed. She must. Therefore, put money in thy purse. If thou wilt needs damn thyself, do it a more delicate way than drowning. Make all the money thou canst. If sanctimony and a frail vow betwixt an erring barbarian and a super subtle Venetian, not too hard for my wits and all the tribe of hell, thou shalt enjoy her. Therefore, make money.
A box of drowning thyself, it is clean out of the way. Seek thou rather to be hanged encompassing thy joy, than to be drowned and go without her. Wilt thou be fast to my hopes if I depend on the issue? Thou art sure of me. Go make money. I have told thee often, and I tell thee again and again. I hate the Moor. My cause is hearted. Thine hath no less reason. Let's be conjunctive in our revenge against him. If thou canst cuckold him, thou dost thyself a pleasure. Me, a sport. There are many events in the womb of time which will be delivered. Traverse, go, provide thy money. We will have more of this tomorrow. Adieu. Where shall we meet in the morning? At my lodging. I'll be with thee betimes. Go to, farewell. Do you hear, Roderigo? What say you? No more of drowning, do you hear? I am changed. I'll go sell all my land. Thus do I ever make my fool my purse. For I mine own gain knowledge should profane. If I would time expend with such a snipe, but for my sport and profit. I hate the Moor! And it is thought abroad that twixt my sheets he's done my office. I know not if it be true, but I for mere suspicion in that kind will do as if for surety. He holds me well, the better shall my purpose work on him. Cassio's a proper man. Let me see now. To get his place and plume up my will in double knavery? How? How? After some time, to abuse Othello's ear that he's too familiar with his wife. He hath a person and a smooth disposed to be suspected, framed to make women false. The more is of a free and open nature that thinks men honest, but that seem to be so, and will as tenderly be led by the nose as Caesar. I have it. It is engendered. Helen Knight must bring this monstrous birth to the world's light.